محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل يا رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, we have arrived at the nullifiers of wudu. So Alhamdulillah, we went over how to make wudu. We went over last class on the wiping over the socks and the wiping over the imamah. And today, inshallah, we are going over the chapter of the nullifiers of wudu. And what are the things that break your wudu? قال المصنف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, says, باب نواقض الوضوء, chapter of nullifiers or nullifying wudu, the nullifiers of wudu. وهي سبعة, and it is 7. So there are 7 things here which are listed that if any of these things happen, your wudu is now invalid. Number 1, الخارج من السبيلين على كل حال, anything that exits from the 2 private parts, and he has added to this على كل حال, meaning any type of thing, whether it is as the scholars have explained, anything, meaning whether it is najas or it is tahir. So of course we know that when a person goes to the washroom, urine and stool would come out of these 2 parts, and this will nullify your wudu. How about if something comes out of the your private parts, but it is tahir? For example, stones. The scholars give the example of stones, or perhaps hasharat, like bugs or worms. If these come out of your private areas, then it also breaks your wudu. Anything, anything that comes out of these 2 private parts, it breaks your wudu. As long as it comes out, then it will break your wudu. As long as it comes out of these 2 parts, it will break your wudu. Number 2, al-khariju al-najas min ghayrihima idha fahisha. Number 2 is any type of impure substance, any type of najas which comes out of your body other than your 2 private parts. إِذَا فَحُشَ, if it is excessive or if it is a lot. So for example, there are people that they don't use their private parts to use the bathroom. They have to use a bag, right? So if najasa were to come out and their bag, it would be filled with najasa, then that will break their wudu, even if it doesn't come out of the 2 private parts. Also, if a person, for example, he bleeds a lot, right? If he bleeds a lot, it says, he mentioned إِذَا فَحُشَ, if a person bleeds a lot, has a big wound that's gushing out blood, then that would break his wudu. If it is minute, if it is a very little bit amount, as we mentioned before, then it would not break your wudu. So if you have a little bit of blood, for example, 1 or 2 drops of blood that come out, then this would not break your wudu. However, if it is something which is excessive, then it would break your wudu. And any najasa coming out of your body, other than 2 private areas, would break the wudu. Number 3 is وَزَوَالُ الْعَقْلِ إِلَّا النَّوْمِ الْيَسِيرِ جَالِسًا أَوْ قَائِمًا, and the loss of intellect except for light sleep, or except for light sleep while sitting or standing. So zawal al-aql, light sleep. Zawal al-aql, loss of intellect. This means any type of fainting, any type of a person going insane or a person going crazy. If a person he blacks out, for example, he falls into a coma, or also it includes intoxication, because this is also considered zawal al-aql. You lose your intellect, you lose your sense, right? Any of these type of things will nullify your wudu, and you have to remake your wudu if you had wudu previous. Just the fact that a person gets intoxicated, or he loses intellect by insanity, or he falls into a coma, that will break his wudu. And he says, إِلَّا النَّوْمِ الْيَسِيرِ, except light sleep, جالسا أو قائما, except for light sleep while you're sitting down or while you're standing. So if you're sitting down or while you're standing and it's a very light sleep, then this would not break your wudu, because it would not be enough to break your wudu. Number 4, وَلَمْسُ الذَّكَرِ بِيَدِهِ, and touching your private part with your hand. And the scholars have defined the hand as the kaf, so the front or the back. And it's important here that he mentions touching it with your hand. So if you touch either the front or the back, your private area, it will break your wudu. And if you touch it, it has to be directly with the hand. So if you touch your private parts directly with your hand, then this will break the wudu. If you are, for example, you have just come out of the shower and you are drying yourself with a towel and use a towel and you touch your private area, that does not break your wudu. If it touches your arm, for example, right, that does not break your wudu. It has to be with the hand, either the front or the back, and that will break your wudu. Number 5, وأن تمس بشرته الأنثى لشهوة. And if he touches the skin of a woman with lustful desire. So touching the skin of a woman with lustful desire will also break your wudu. So if a person is touching, for example, his wife and there is some desire there, then that will break your wudu, as the author mentions. Number 6, وَالرِّدَّةُ عَنِ الْإِسْلَامِ. Number 6 is an apostasy from Islam who was a Muslim before. So a person that was Muslim before, he has wudu and then he left Islam. No, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from ridda. Allahumma ameen. Person that leaves Islam and he comes back to Islam, just by leaving Islam, that breaks your wudu. You have to redo your wudu if you want to pray. Number 7, وأكل اللحم الجزور لما روي عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قيل له أتوضأ من لحوم الإبل قال نعم وقال نعم توضأ منها. قيل أتوضأ من لحوم الغنم قال إن شئت توضأ إن شئت توضأ وإن شئت فلا تتوضأ. Number 7 is the eating of camel meat. As the Prophet ﷺ was asked, should we make wudu after eating camel's meat? And he said, yes, you should make wudu after eating camel's meat. And he was asked, shall we make wudu after eating lamb? And he said, if you want, you can make wudu, and if you want, you do not have to make wudu. So eating the laham, eating the meat of any type of camel, that will break your wudu as well. So, and the fuqaha, that they're very detailed when they choose their words. So when they say laham, it means laham only. So if you drink the milk of camel, that does not break your wudu, it does not nullify your wudu. If you eat the kabid, the liver of the camel, that is not considered meat according to the fuqaha, so that would not break your wudu. It has to be the laham of ibil, laham of camel, and that would break your wudu. Bab, and we'll end up here inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in.